Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Motherhood is both amazing and difficult at the same time. The Passport Mommy, Michelle Jerson, is here to share in your journey.
It's amazing. It really is, just watching them grow and see how much change and how much they learn just without the filters around them.
Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome to Passport Mommy. I'm Michelle Jerson. I hope you had another good week. I hope you're staying sane and safe. And you know, it's funny. I used to always be very strict with screen time when it came to my now 3-year-old daughter. And I'm strict with it when it comes to my 1-year-old son. I don't let him watch anything yet. But now I have to say that even before the pandemic, I had started her in on Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, which we'll talk with Ellen Doherty later. She is the Chief Creative Officer for Fred Rogers Productions, so I'm really excited to talk with her. But now there's so many great series on TV, and especially during this time where I feel like kids do need an outlet, and if they're not doing their normal activities, their usual activities, this is a great way to substitute what they are doing in a day. So today I have with me Melinda Toporoff. She is the series producer and writer of Public Television's virtual day camp series, Camp TV. She's also the series producer of the PBS Kids series, Cyber Chase. Hi, Melinda.
Hi.
So I'm thrilled to have you. You are an Emmy Award-winning producer and development executive. You've produced over 600 hours of programming across multiple genres and formats for television, for digital platforms. Tell me about Camp TV.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Camp TV was our hope to bring some fun and engaging summer experience that parents can feel good about and that children can enjoy to television. Following the months of school closures and the continuation of COVID-19 restrictions, we decided we need to step in and help kids nationwide have some sort of semblance of camp experience. If they can't physically go, we're going to give them a simulated experience. So we decided to move ahead with 20 episodes of Camp TV. It's an hour-long series. It's on every Monday through Friday. It started on July 13th, and you can check local listings for what time and where.
Okay.
But long story short, we were, looking for a way to try to mend some broken hearts out there and make it, a fun and enriching experience for them.
Yeah, which I think is great because there are a lot of sad children out there who have not been able to go to camp this year in the summer. And so I'm so happy to hear that there is a series like this out there. So tell me a little bit about what we can expect in an episode and what age range does this show target?
So we went wide between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. I know that can be sort of big gap, but we try to have something for everyone. And essentially it is an hour show that is hosted by a great actor. His name is Zachary Pizer. He was in Dear Evan Hansen and on Wicked from Broadway. And he's a total delight. And he acts as the head counselor, quote unquote. Right. He introduces the theme of the day, like many camps. There's Silly Sock Day or Crazy Hat Day or Backwards Day, and welcomes kids with a welcome theme song, and then acts as a quote unquote chaperone, getting you from one activity to the next. And those activities include segments that are either arts or movement or literacy, science. We have a segment called Going Wild, which is our visits with the Memphis Zoo or other nature clips. We also have something called Count On, which is math. We were trying to fill some of the gaps left behind due to kids being out of school.
Right.
And then there are just fun other segments like Field Trip or a writing experience with the Story pirates. So lots of variety. And we had the good fortune of having many organizations across really nationally, but we were pretty focused on New York because of who we are, partner with us and provide content that could sort of fill those different buckets. So that's sort of the general overview.
Yeah. And the partners that you do have, they're very interesting partners. I'm looking at the list here. So I think it's really neat that you're going to have content featured from, I see here some Brooklyn Children's Museum, the Children's Museum of the Arts, the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. What are some of the other partners and how are they contributing?
So we've had everyone from the Liberty Science Center, Lincoln Center, New Victory Theater, the New York Public Library, Memphis Zoo has been incredible in providing content for us. And they, a lot of these places had education departments within their organizations. Some of them were already creating content online for kids during this time. And they worked with us on providing that content so that we could air them and then put them in these, educational buckets we were trying to always hit per episode. We had an incredible response.
That's great. And I feel like it's a combination of camp, like you said, field trips, and then field trips. If there's somebody watching who might live across the country and, hey, this is their chance to visit the Memphis Zoo or the New York Botanical Garden. Yes.
And we also had great response from our local stations across the U.S., and they actually have the option of localizing some of the material and working with local institutions. So if a kid in Utah is watching, there will be some segments that will come up during the season that, actually take place in Utah.
So. Wow. That's really interesting. And is there a way at all to access those? So if I'm in New York and I'm getting the New York content, can I go somewhere and access the Utah content?
Well, I know that we have selected a bunch of clips from some of our stations across the nation to put within our own episodes. So you can get a taste of some of the best of those pieces within our episodes towards the end of the season.
That's really neat.
Yeah. And then there's also, we have camptv.org, which you can always go to and access content as well, full episodes.
Great. camptv.org. And you said the show is airing at 10 a.m. on WLIW 21 in the New York metro area, on 13 and 12 p.m. on NJTV, if you're in the New York area, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. Yeah, because if you're listening to this podcast or the radio show, we do have stations in the New York area. But like you said, you can watch it anywhere around the country, and you could check out the streaming at camptv.org. So we have a few more minutes. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about Cyberchase?
Oh, sure. Wasn't expecting that, but happy to.
Okay. I always love learning about new shows from PBS. Sure. So tell me about Cyberchase.
Well, Cyberchase is actually one of our legacy series that we're about to go into our 13th, God willing, funding provided, season of the 13th season of the Cyberchase franchise. So it's been around since we were kids, frankly. And, the concept behind it is that there are three main character kids who live within a cyber world, and it's their job to save that cyber world from Hacker, who is played by Christopher Lloyd, who is, our quote-unquote villain, but mostly a bumbling, silly villain. And, you know, they use their brains and their smarts and their, you know, to basically save the day with math skills and environmental topics that we make sure are part of our curriculum for every episode.
Terrific. Yeah, I know 13 years. I'm a new mom. I have a 3 and a 1-year-old. So I've been a little out of the loop for a while.
Absolutely. And they're a little young. This is definitely for a little bit of an older crowd. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, that's amazing. And I think it's wonderful just how many different series PBS provides for different ages to really, you know, educate. And I was saying before that we're a huge Daniel Tiger family, and my daughter has pretty much learned so much. And I'd like to say everything, but that wouldn't credit me so much. But she's learned almost everything from Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. So I just think, you know, to have PBS Kids and then PBS as you get older, just to experience all the different series, including Cyber Chase and now Camp TV, I think is wonderful. So thank you so much, Melinda, for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy. And don't forget, you can listen to the podcast. Just go to your favorite podcasting platform to listen to this and any other episode from the past. And I would be so grateful if you left a review as well. I'm Michelle Jerson. More coming up in a few.
Motherhood is a journey. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
So during this time of COVID-19, there is so much going on, and you might be doing really well and you might just be struggling with boredom, and that's your biggest issue right now. Well, you know what? I saw something posted on Facebook that said, don't think that that's the only problem out there, or don't think just because you're struggling with this, somebody else isn't struggling with something else. And so today I am thrilled to have with me Krista Zuccari. She's the Chief Operating Officer of Family Connections. She received her BA in psychology, her MA in clinical counseling from Fairleigh Dickinson University. And since then, she has held several positions at Family Connections, including outreach clinician, coordinator of community support services, program manager of the Reunity Houses, and Director of Programs. So Krista, tell me a little bit about Family Connections and what you do. I know you are based in Northern New Jersey. You're a nonprofit. Tell me a little bit about Family Connections.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks, Michelle, first to just have this opportunity to talk with you and with your listeners. Family Connections, as you said, we're a Northern New Jersey nonprofit, and we deliver services across Northern New Jersey to a range of ages, to children, adults, seniors, as well as to families and folks that are really facing life's toughest challenges. We do that impacting thousands of lives each year, and really work to support people to be able to change their lives through supporting them through trauma that they've experienced, their mental illness, addiction, domestic violence, child abuse, and more. And we do that in ways to really meet the needs of folks and for them to be able to be successful in connecting and staying connected. So we deliver those services in our office locations, but we also go out into the community, into schools, and into people's homes to meet them where they're at so they can be successful and get the support and the help that they need.
That's terrific. And so the pandemic's effect on the children and families have been so far-reaching during this time. Tell me what you've been seeing and how Family Connections has been able to be involved in helping these families.
Yeah, it really has. The impact that we've seen over the last few months while our families have always had, as I said, right, life's toughest challenges. Everything seems to be exacerbated by this pandemic. So folks that were experiencing a mental illness or addiction, they're seeing an increase in those symptoms, an increase in substance use, an increase in mental illness or mental health symptoms, more depression, more anxiety. And that really comes from, a lot of things that we're seeing. It's coming from that fear and that isolation. especially the isolation that people are feeling during this time, right? We're needing to be socially distant, we're needing to be physically distant, and it's what we need to do to stay healthy, but it absolutely has other impacts on folks.
Right.
We're also seeing loss of employment and loss of income. So while some individuals have always had, those social or emotional challenges, now they're also without a job, without income, and that's really causing a lot of food insecurity and housing instability for many of the people that we work with.
Right. And so because of everything that's going on, your in-person visits, are they limited? Are you doing a virtual component?
We are. As of the middle of March, we were able to transition all of our services to be available through telehealth or teleservices, and moved quickly to be able to do that. So folks had that option. One barrier for many of our individuals and families is while we can provide that option, they also need the technology on their end to be able to do that, right? Folks that are needing, that hardware, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet, and a data plan or internet access. So in transitioning our services, we've also tried to be a support in getting folks connected with that technology so that they can engage through that remote teleservice platform.
Right. That's terrific. And you mentioned just other people helping out and getting involved. If anybody listening wants to help Family Connections, help the families that are going through what they're going through, how can we help? How can we support?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say first thing to do, please check out our website. It's Family Connections. NJ as in New Jersey.org. There's a lot of information there about our work, its impact, how we are changing our work and implementing our work in creative ways right now. And we also have an event, a fundraising and awareness campaign coming up next month. August 22nd is our Roll and Stroll for Hope. This is a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. You roll, you stroll, you can bike, you can run a mile on that day. You can do it individually or as a family, and it's a way to raise awareness, to support Family Connections in our efforts, and to do so in a socially responsible way, which we all need to be doing during this time.
Right, absolutely. Krista Zucari, thank you so much. I personally really appreciate everything that you're doing with Family Connections. I think it's wonderful, and it's so nice to know that there are organizations like yours out there to help families and people in need, especially these children during this time and even when we're not in a pandemic. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Motherhood is a journey. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy. So you may have heard a segment that we did in the past all about PBS Kids and Daniel Tiger. And when I tell you that we are a Daniel Tiger family, I feel like I'm living in a Daniel Tiger musical starring my 3-year-old daughter, because every day no matter what is going on, whether she's trying to share with her brother or her brother wants her to share, or we're talking about sharing foods or trying new things or whatever the case may be, she sings a song from Daniel Tiger for every situation throughout the day. And I think it's wonderful. And I really have to credit Daniel Tiger for this imagination that my daughter has and everything that she does and how she functions on a daily basis. And so today I have with me Ellen Doherty. She is the Chief Creative Officer for Fred Rogers Productions, which oversees the creation of television and digital content for the company's existing PBS Kids series, including Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Peg and Cat, and Odd Squad, as well as developing new properties. She is the creator, the head writer, and executive producer of the award-winning short-form preschool series Through the Woods, and is an executive producer of Don Quixote, a new puppet series for kids 3 to 5 that will premiere on PBS Kids in early 2021. Hi, Ellen. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So you have quite a background. In 2018, you were nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Mr. Rogers, It's You I Like, which was the retrospective tribute to the 50th anniversary of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And for those that don't know, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is it's a spinoff, kind of, right? Would you call it a spinoff from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Well, I'd say it's inspired by.
That's right. Yeah. And I love it. And I think it's a wonderful show. So for anybody who has small kids, tell us a little bit about Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood in case they haven't watched it yet.
Sure. Well, every episode is all about Daniel and his family and friends. And Daniel is a little 4-year-old tiger cub. And we try to show Daniel going through all the kinds of changes and challenges and fun and play that human 4-year-old and 3-year-old children go through as well.
Right. And I love how every show is another lesson and there's a song tied into it. And I will just say from personal experience, my daughter, we have a 1-year-old also in the house, a boy. And my daughter calls him Margaret all the time.
That's great. Well, that's really, that's a testament to the care and just really great attention to detail that the team takes on trying to find stories that are really, really, really relatable and valid to really young children.
Right, exactly. And I really think you hit the nail on the head with all of that. And now you have season 5 coming out on August 17th with the special Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Won't You Sing Along With Me? Tell me what this is going to entail.
Well, this is actually the special Won't You Sing Along With Me came up during the pandemic, basically in March. I think it was the end of March, although it's hard because time has lost a lot of meaning in the last few months. The PBS reached out, and said we'd like to do something for families during this time that's full of so much change, to see if, there's a way that we can, through Daniel Tiger and his family and friends, figure out a way to help viewers at home. And so that's sort of that's the genesis of this particular episode. And we really thought that the sing-along aspect of it really would resonate strongly, as you said with your own family, Michelle, that they the kids really do remember the little songs that are in each episode. And that seemed like a good place to start in thinking about this.
Yes, absolutely. So how many shows are in season 5?
All of season 5 has 20 episodes. We're just starting with a week of new episodes in August, and with the sing-along as well.
Got it. Okay, terrific. And where can we go to watch Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood? I know we watch it on our Roku streaming. We've also watched it on Amazon Prime. Where else can people watch it?
Oh, gosh, it's everywhere. It's on PBS Kids stations across the country over the air, as well as PBS Kids, the video app, and through the PBS Kids websites, the Daniel Tiger website. And then there are PBS Kids channels, as you said, on Roku, on Amazon, on a variety of services. Too many to list them all. But if you go to, pbskids.org/Daniel, that's the home of Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood online. But your local PBS station is definitely going to be carrying Daniel.
Okay. Okay. Terrific. And do you personally have any favorite episodes?
I think that I really like the message of the Daniel substitute teacher episode because, which is things can change and that's okay. We can do things in a different way. I really like that one because it's a strategy that we've used before, and strategies are what we call the little songs. Right. And it's actually the reason that I thought of that one is because when I moved to Pittsburgh to take the job at the company 4.5 years ago, that was one of the strategies that was being worked on for a different episode. And it just resonated for me because I had just moved to a new city for a new job, and every day things were different. And everything was being done in a different way. And I think that that's really what's so great about the way that Daniel Tiger is produced in the care, again, that the producers and writers and really the whole team takes, but in crafting the words that are in the songs, like things can change and that's okay. Today we can do things in a different way. Finding the right way to say that that will resonate for kids now and in the future, and also resonate so often for adults, is what's special about Daniel. I think that's really the core of the show and why it connects with so many viewers and families.
I agree. And I think when you said also connects with the families, I feel that so many times when I'm watching the episodes, yes, it's a message for the kids, but it's a bigger message sometimes for the parents too. Like, when you're mad, take a deep breath and count to 4, like when you feel so mad. And I think that's something that we as parents can all think of in the back of our head, because we always want to be as patient as we can be in front of our children and to our spouse in front of our children. And so I do feel a lot of these lessons are also targeted towards parents.
Yeah, they're targeted to people, and that was what was great and really so inspirational about Fred Rogers' work, is that that's the care that he took in choosing and crafting those messages. And that's why the ideas and things that he talked about in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s still resonate today, because it's really about getting the wording just so and thinking about the central idea that really matters.
Right.
And that's what I think really makes this show special in 2020 and beyond.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So tell me a little bit about some of the other shows that we could see on PBS Kids and some of the preschool series, the short form preschool series Through the Woods.
Oh, well, Through the Woods is not on PBS Kids. It was produced for a streaming platform that is not in existence anymore. It launched in 2018. We share content on it through our social channels right now, and we're exploring different options for distribution for short form video, online.
Got it. Okay, so tell me about what we can see on PBS Kids. Peg and Cat, Odd Squad.
Yeah, there's a new season of Odd Squad underway, and we just did the 100th episode. So those shows premiered this month in July. And in the season 3 of Odd Squad, it's all about the Odd Squad mobile unit. So the kids are on the road solving oddness wherever they find it, which in the season includes places that they're visiting that are both virtually through the wonder of special effects as well as actually on location. So they went to New York City and also came to Pittsburgh, which is the home of Fred Rogers Productions.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. And then as far as Don Quixote, which is a new puppet series that will premiere on PBS Kids in early 2021, tell me what that's about.
Oh, sure. So also taking inspiration from Fred Rogers' work, we looked at one of the original characters from the neighborhood of make-believe, Don Quixote, and thought that would be a great character to kind of reinvent. So the new series coming to PBS Kids in 2021 is all about a little girl donkey who has big dreams and big ideas and lives in the land of someplace else and is always just trying to make dreams come true for herself and her friends, setting goals and achieving them. It's, on the learning side, it's a show that's about critical thinking and persistence and problem solving and resilience. And her grandfather, Donkey, on the show is the original Donkey Hody from the original series. So that's sort of our connection.
Oh, that's so clever.
Else is a place that Fred came up with. And he talked about in several episodes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood about how kids are often told, take that noise someplace else, take that mess someplace else and go play, go someplace else. And so that was sort of the idea of this. And that's what happened with Don Quixote in the original show. The original character was an adult male donkey and who was building a windmill, and he was making a lot of mess, and King Friday didn't like it. So he told him to take the windmill and go to someplace else and build it there. And so that's sort of the origin story for our world. And now our donkey lives in the windmill, and her best friends are Purple Panda and Bob Dog, who are also based on or inspired by legacy characters, but really taken to a whole new level as they're all puppets. And they're all really just like super cute and really huggable puppets and characters that I'm really excited for people to see next year.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That sounds like an amazing show. I love that she's female. I love that she works out problems, and it just encourages kids, like you said, to embrace those messes and to do those sort of things. It reminds me of the huge mess we had last night that I was cringing when it was all over my kitchen floor. But I said, I need to do it. I need to let them just explore and have fun and not discourage this.
Yeah, it's following your curiosity is a good thing in a variety of ways.
Exactly. So tell everybody again really quickly where they can watch PBS Kids. I know it's in so many places, but just a few where somebody can find the shows and find it streaming.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, on public television stations across the country, through pbskids.org, through the Daniel Tiger website, in particular for Daniel, obviously. But PBS Kids offers videos available through the video player on the PBS Kids website, on the individual series websites, as well as through the PBS Kids video app. And then there's PBS Kids video channels available on different services like Amazon and I think on Roku and others. But if you search PBS Kids Video, you'll find a variety of channels.
Perfect. Ellen Doherty, Chief Creative Officer for Fred Rogers Productions. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Motherhood is a journey. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome back to the show. So I always enjoy having somebody from PETA on the air because I am a firm believer in not using animals for testing and a whole array of other issues when it comes to the use of animals. So today I am thrilled to have with me Emily Trunnell. She is a research associate and institutional animal care and use committee liaison for PETA. Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Michelle? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you have your PhD. You do a bunch of research when it comes to the use of animals in biomedical research. Tell me a little bit about PETA's research modernization deal and the strategy behind the plan and what's happening and what's the latest when it comes to using animals.
So a lot of people don't know that about $18 billion taxpayer dollars were spent on experiments that maim and kill animals. This was last year. 95% of the time, those don't lead to anything for humans. It's ridiculous, and the government recognizes this. So at a time like this during a pandemic, we can all understand why medical research needs to be efficient and accurate. So PETA has more scientists on staff than any other animal protection organization, and this is a really important issue to us. So we've developed a framework to make biomedical research more human relevant and less dependent on the use of animals. Our plan really involves, it's very straightforward. We eliminate the use of animals in the areas where they failed the most. For stroke, they failed 100% of the time. To develop treatments for Alzheimer's disease, they failed 99% of the time. So we focus on those areas, and then we shift our funding, our taxpayer funding, to human relevant research methods. And by shifting that funding, we'll really develop those, and the plan has a few other steps as well.
Great. I love that, because whenever I hear that, it's been tested on this animal or that animal, you have to wonder the accuracy of that. And also, it pains me. I know I buy all of my products, shampoos and otherwise, when it says not tested on animals. So I'm really glad to hear that PETA is moving towards doing this and helping with this. So how will this benefit the wellness of animals and just improve current research?
So like I mentioned before, the government acknowledges that these tests fail 95% of the time. Animals, almost all of them are killed in the end of the experiments. They undergo these awful, awful things like, being burned, made extremely ill. They're rarely given proper pain medication. So if we can shift our research focus away from using them, that will obviously benefit the animals. But at the same time, our research methods really need to be based in human biology. And we're seeing this now, with COVID. These vaccines, many of them are going straight to human trials without bypassing a lot of the typical animal tests that, companies have been told were necessary. And if this can happen now, it can happen other times as well. And we'd like to keep that momentum moving forward. Right, exactly. So where can people go for more information? How can they get involved? How can they get behind PETA to really help with this movement? Thank you for asking. So I hope your listeners will visit PETA.org/New Deal. That's PETA.org/New Deal. And with one click of a button, they can ask their representatives to support PETA's research modernization deal. If we're all in this together, we can really save both human and animal lives. Absolutely. So we have a minute left. Tell me a little bit about, what else PETA is working on right now, your involvement, your passions. Thank you. So PETA, this part of the research modernization deal is already working. So last year, PETA scientists sat beside the head of the EPA when he announced that by 2035, the EPA was going to phase out all experiments on mammals. Personally, I've been working on a campaign to get rid of this test called the forced swim test, and I'd love to talk to you more about that sometime, but we've worked with 14 major pharmaceutical companies to do that. So we're seeing successes with this already, and it's really good because we know we're saving animals and helping humans. Absolutely, and I think it's amazing work that you're doing. And so you personally, what do you do when it comes to products that you use? Obviously, you probably don't use products that involve animal testing. How can people who maybe want to know more about this but really aren't as knowledgeable yet, they haven't read up on it, on the basics, to prevent them from using products they don't want to? Well, PETA has a cruelty-free companies list on our Beauty Without Bunnies program. So you can find that on our website, and it lists all the brands that don't test on animals. But even easier than that, when you go to the store, if you look for our cruelty-free bunny label, you know you're buying something that was produced ethically. Terrific. Thank you so much, Dr. Emily Trunnell. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Michelle. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy. Enjoy the rest of your day.